Hello, everyone. We are live with a Season 14 semifinal match. We have Sooner on the red side versus Geisman on the blue side. Sooner is rocking his X Force list here. Here it is. It's in Longshanks. The players had to update their rosters to go to follow the new rules of the game with some rotated cards leaving, etc., etc. We've got Dan playing his defenders list, added Shang-Chi and Black Swan. Looks like they're underway with the roll. Joining me on commentary is Merzane. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. I freaking love the top four and the finals. Watching them, I just love it so much. What about you? You you dig this?
Oh, I usually like keep track of it, but not like super closely anymore. Just because I'm so busy lately. But I have been keeping a lot closer track of it because my boy Sooner's in there. That's my dad right there. That's who that is. And so I got to make sure he's doing good.
Yeah, that's right. We've got all right. The map we've got here, Madripoor Street Race. This has been around for a little while, and we have the priority roll went off with looks like Dan won priority, and I'm just gonna check. Red selected extract, so it's Dan selected his secures. We've got Gamma Hammers. All right, what do we
Ooh.
think of this? Defenders versus the X Force here, clash down the middle.
I don't think it's getting to 16.
You
I
think
think this is about to
Tablein?
be a bloodbath. Oh yeah, we're gonna see a table. This
I
is This is good old fashioned MCP. Gamma Hammers is excellent, and we have two of like the killiest rosters on the face of the planet.
Yeah, that's right. As Sploosh has said, I haven't seen a tabling since yesterday.
Oh, I have that soundbite on my phone. I love
Yeah, it's so
it.
good.
I have
the
that soundbite. I have one of Sooner saying Okoye does it again, and I have
Yes,
one of Norbert saying, "Isn't he 4 points
or
about
five
Sam
threats, five
or
or something
four
like
threat
that. Or
or something like that?"
yeah, so,
And Huggy going 3.
yeah. Oh,
Unbelievable,
unbelievable. Yeah,
unbelievable.
that's right. So let's see. We're gonna see 15 or 18. Very interesting decision for Sooner here. I'm not sure. I don't play X Force enough to know what the optimal play is. If you go 18, you can play a 5, a 4, and three threes. Do you want to know how I know that math right off the top of my head?
How do you know that math right off the top of your head?
Oh, because I've been playing a little bit of Mojo Ball, where you play at 18 threats, and I have a couple of videos on my channel that talk about the Mojo Ball event that you and I are running.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, so that's pretty interesting. There's a new demo video that you and I played in, and it was very exciting. We just put it up today, so there's the self promo of the video. Okay, I want to keep it clean because we're not here to talk about Mojo Ball today. We're here to talk about these two amazing players who both Sooner and Dan have gone through the gauntlet to get to this position, and out of 288 players, we're left with the final four.
Oh yeah. Uh, I am really intrigued to see what this because one thing that I've just played Defenders today and Hulk was something I was scared of and you said his name is Daniel. I'm so sorry.
Yes,
I'm
Dan.
terrible with names.
Yes, Dan.
Dan. He does not have any kaiju's like that. The biggest thing he's got is Black Swan with the power gem,
Yeah.
which is probably good because that doesn't feel good into X Force. Kaiju's feel like a really big detriment. So he's just gonna have a whole lot of options here.
Right.
There's no dead picks.
The Power Swan is very interesting, right? Because you have the wild triggers on Cable. Uh, you have the Pierce attacks on X-23. I have to look at the rules to understand that interaction completely. But you've got Deadpool's rapid fire and stab triggers, bang bang and stab triggers. You're shutting down a lot of things that Sooners team can do because they have a lot of wild triggers, and so I'd be interested to see if Power Swan makes it onto the board. But Dan did we I did interview all four of these players, and Dan he has a little bit of a poker background, so he is always looking at the expected value. I forget the exact terminology used in the interview, but basically he thinks that a lot of the best players they play a little more uh, they play a little tighter and a little more cautious than you would need to because the expected value of the characters should allow you to push them, maybe like a Wolverine or Wolverine was the one he was using. Valkyrie were the two examples he used, where they have a high expected value, and they do have a lot of variance. But overall, if you look at their averages over time, they can do a lot of damage, and that's what he likes to bring. So it's really interesting to hear that perspective. So it was very cool. It was a very cool interview.
That's been one of my favorite things about being in the MCP community for so long, is seeing all the different backgrounds that inform people's list making and gameplay decisions. I've never heard one from poker, and that's really cool. A lot of Guild Ball, War Machine, X-Wing, Legion, all those meshing into the strategy of this game. But that's the first time I've heard a real big boy game like poker.
Yeah, it's really cool when players are new to the hobby and they do really well pretty quickly. Like Dan has only been in this game. He's been only playing this game since this January or so. And so it's a new fresh take, new to miniature gaming, I believe, as well, or basically new. I'm gonna go through the rosters here. It looks like we're playing 15 threats, and Sooner is bringing Cable, Deadpool, X-23 with Crimson Dynamo as a splash. He's brought Recal, Cat and Mouse, Sacrifice, Fallback, Joint Effort, and against him we have the defenders playing Daredevil, Ghost Rider, Wong, Crimson Dynamo with Sacrifice, Recal, Fall Back, Deal with the Devil, Brace for Impact. Right, so you want to hear something pretty funny? Is that each game I put up a game loading or game about to start screen, and this one I had a very funny hunch that Crimson Dynamo would show up. And look at that, I was 200% correct.
That is quite incredible. I love these teams. I love Sooner, but my God, my boy Dan over here has Ghost Rider. And I don't know if you know, but that's one of my favorite Marvel characters. And when he first came out, he was in no better terms pee pee poo poo, just awful. Uh, and it's so cool to see him at a top four table. Just incredible to me to see this character.
Yeah, he is a very big nuisance. The Wicked's Judgment. If you attack a character that is not Ghost Rider within 3 of the Ghost Rider, he can then play Wicked's Judgment, and any crits you rolled in the attack roll will just be straight up damage back to you. So this could potentially set up a daze or KO on one of Sooner's characters during the middle of their activation. So it's very he has to be pretty cautious about that. And if you try to take out Ghost Rider, he's got a way to counter that with Deal with the Devil, sacrificing one of his own characters and bringing Ghost Rider back healthy or injured depending on the state of that character that was sacrificed. So it's pretty difficult. It's like you have to choose one of two pretty crappy options basically, right? To fight through Ghost Rider.
Yeah, I love mechanics that give you two bad decisions to make. Uh, do you want to like daze or try to KO all the little guys so that Ghost Rider doesn't have any targets? Or do you just go into Ghost Rider and suffer the consequences of it? Uh, it's such an interesting gameplay dynamic. Uh,
Yes, yes.
I also again I love Sooner and I don't want him to lose. As I want to see him do well, but I really kind of want to see Ghost Rider get a position of Crimson Dynamo and be able to daze or KO him on a Wicked Judgment midway through a big beam. Stuff like that's going to be really difficult to deal with if Dan's Ghost Rider is positioning well.
Yeah. Something else that's pretty interesting is like obviously the shock condition on Crimson Dynamo could be pretty significant here, as well as the refraction shield. I believe is that what it's called, disruption field, and
Mhm.
it will. Both teams have their rerolls from their leadership here, and Crimson Dynamo can kind of undo those. We have. We have wild triggers on attacks from their big beater. All of their big beaters basically have wild triggers on them. So I feel like both players are expecting high. I mean, both players are expecting a high amount of value out of their dynamos, and it might be whoever's performs the best ends up taking this match.
Oh yeah, I think this game could be easily won or lost on the back of Dynamo, and I kind of complement that, Sooner brought joint effort to make that one big beam even bigger. Uh, I feel like almost every game on an E with Dynamo, you get at least one, and that joint effort could really like be the difference maker in whether or not that one he gets, if it's only one, dazes a couple of guys or critically injures them, or just flubs and gives him just powers up the battery of Crimson Dynamo.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so I'm just going to give a quick recap of what has happened so far. These players are moving pretty quickly. I'm going to put on the timer up online just to have it up, but I doubt it's going to be utilized. So we had we had the opening of Dan grabbing a hammer with Daredevil, and then we had X23 grabbing the other flank hammer here. We've got then Wong has now moved up to the home gamma point, and he's made sure to leave room for a Crimson Dynamo walk. You don't want to body block your own Dynamo right away, so Dan's preventing that, thinking a turn or two ahead. And yeah, so let's see what Sooner does with that, with his action.
Now, how hype would it have been if Wong picked up that hammer, though?
I mean, he definitely would have been injured by Cable pretty quickly into this game, I would imagine. He'd be too big of a target with the defense dice to not support that decision, I don't think.
Oh, absolutely not. It would have probably been categorically terrible, but I'm thinking of how funny it would be to see Wong swinging around a hammer.
Yeah,
I imagine he wants to keep as much heat off him as possible to make him the prime deal with the devil target.
yeah, that's I would imagine that would be the case. Deadpool grabbing the home hammer for Sooner. Now he's going to be rolling 5 dice range 4 bang attacks, and that's just gives him all the more likelihood to hit those triggers. He's got the reroll from the leadership and the reroll because Deadpool knows karate. And so you're getting a 5 dice reroll too with a hit wild trigger to do it again. It seems very strong. So I'm excited to see if Deadpool gets to do that this game.
Multi-attackers are always really good to put the hammers on, right? Like Crimson Dynamo with the beams, the bang bang guys, X23. Uh, I'm a little sad that Dan is neglecting to put the hammer on Dynamo, but I guess it's because he wants Dynamo in the middle to sit on the point. He doesn't want to give a free point, but I feel like Dynamo is one of his best characters to be running a hammer, just because of the amount of extra dice he gets.
I'm trying to see what happened. What happened? How does Dynamo have? Oh, Wong gave Dynamo power. So Wong gave
Yep.
Dynamo power. We missed that one, and it allowed him to get to the middle of the board and hit an attack into Cable. He hits the shock on Cable, and looks like Cable is taking 3 damage off the hop.
Ooh,
Right. Wow, that is pretty strong. Am I? Oh, maybe he has cover. He has cover, so taking 2.
that's pretty big. I don't know if I like powering up Cable that much, but the shot can be really huge.
Yeah, I mean, going from 5 to 4 is quite the punishment, especially on your 5 threat character. So
Hmm.
let's see what Sooner does about this now. The one thing that is interesting that Sooner will have to make a decision on is if he stays outside of Dynamo, it obviously prevents the disruption field, but it also negates Cable's ability to do his reroll, his 2 rerolls on his attack. So there's a little bit of range play that Sooner has to deal with here. Maybe he might look to put an incinerate on these characters with Cable and then punch through them with the rest of his characters. But Wong is also here to like kind of counter these conditions. So there's lots of different problems that each player is presenting to the other.
Yeah, and it's interesting with that. What you mentioned being out of the three for Dynamo, because the attack dice tend to be better. But in practice, typically, it doesn't feel like that's the case if you're fighting a Dynamo. It feels like the attack dice are working against you at every turn.
Wow, Sooner just rolled a big hit here. He's got 6 successes into 2 blocks. Look at that. Dynamo takes 3 damage, and now Ghost Rider gains a power.
And a shock for his trouble.
Yes, that's there we go. There's a shock condition put onto Dynamo, and I'm just gonna turn the camera a bit. Looks like both Dynamos are on the Gamma, so this is, and look at that. You're seeing that he's Sooner's cable is outside of range 3 of Dynamo. All right. Ghost Rider with a hammer. He's rolling 7 dice attacks. Is that what it is? Oh my goodness! With a
Yes.
wild hex, shocks and hexes, man. Defenders, they can. It'll allow them to defend better. That's for sure.
As the name would imply, you would think that's what they're good at, but they're actually good at beating the crap out of you. Ooh, that is not a good roll from
Oh, he
the
does
Ghost Rider,
have
though.
no rerolls either. He did not get to use his leadership because the defender's leadership requires you to be range 2 of an enemy, and you get a reroll per enemy within range 2. So that's it for Ghost Rider. He doesn't push. He push 1 through. He pushes 1 damage through.
Mhm. So who does Cable go for here? Does he get on the point and then try to finish off Dynamo, get that uh, early turn one or round one days to set up for the round two beatdown, or does he just try to snipe Wong off the back point? He's definitely going to get this middle point if he body slides onto the into the middle. That'll be his point one.
1 sec. I just have to check here. We had how much damage applied to Dynamo. We had Blue's Dynamo. We had Sooner rolled a wild in this trigger, so we have to mention this.
Yes, he did. It does seem like he forgot to shock him. Yes, very important mandatory triggers. A lot of the wilds are.
All right. So let's see.
I think it's a little bit of future stuff, but I think one of the interesting things about these being mandatory is in the future when we get Apocalypse, there's going to be attacks that are impossible to not give him conditions and heal him or give him power.
Yes, that is
And
a good call out.
I wonder if that was intentional.
Yes, you have to apply the condition because it's the rule, and therefore he will be able to what is it? Remove them and heal a wound or something like that.
He'll just
Right?
be immune to them because on the backside he's immune to everything allegedly.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. I heard about that. That's right. Okay, so we have now Cable doing an attack. Rolling. Is he rolling 4 dice? He is shocked. Yes.
Yes.
He got his rerolls. He went 4 for 4, and now we're seeing a a wow, a shield from Dynamo, rerolling 2, and we have 2 damage into Dan's
Wow.
Dynamo. This gives
Dynamo
Cable
is
enough power. Go ahead.
taking a huge beating on this Dynamo early. Like we said at the beginning, I think that the Dynamos are going to be huge, and getting his dazed here this early might be a real big problem for him moving through the rest of the game. He doesn't really have a lot of good ways to convert that power offensively. So
Yes. So do you think you play Brace here to keep your Crimson Dynamo active? Man, I think maybe you do because you just need him to not be on his injured side on round 2 that early. But looks like he's rolling on it. Dan is rolling, and he
he might
could
get
block us
rewarded.
all. Wow.
Never punished.
Oh wow, that was huge for Dan, blocking all of the damage. And so one thing that's interesting here is that Dan now will be able to get a lot of defenders reroll with his Dynamo next round because he's the Nathan Sooners team is starting to get clustered into the because of the nature of the secure.
Yep, that was big. I think that was a huge gamble. I probably would have braced just to force Cable to use the action on me, but
Yeah.
uh, absolutely not getting punished by that.
You do. So what are we seeing now? We're seeing another attack. Oh, of course, Cable cat and mouse is way up the middle of the board. He has another attack from Dynamo, so that's why you wouldn't brace that. That
Hmm.
now it's all becoming clear. You wouldn't want to brace it because you probably go down anyway, and that's what we're seeing. So this is Cable's second attack action, and Cable rolls another 4 for 4 disruption field. Let's see if that changes the result. It doesn't matter. He's only
It
got.
doesn't matter, yeah.
He's still taking 1.
That seemed like an interesting disruption field. I feel like Oh,
Well,
maybe
the
he was trying to get him to
chances,
roll
the chances of
crit.
rolling. Well, he just didn't want to die. He didn't want to get injured, so it was just like you might have been able to disruption field out of the damage, especially when Cable's only rolling 4 dice.
I think maybe it was for the Spirit of Vengeance because it was 4 into 1. There was no way he was stopping it. But if he could make him roll a few extra crits
Hmm.
with those rerolls, that can translate to a little bit of extra damage into him.
You
Soften him
have
up
to
a bit.
pay for the disruption field when the attack is declared, though. So I think
Oh, that's true
he
too.
didn't have the information enough to know. I think it was more of just it was more of just maybe I can survive. But then that's a good call out that you could also, if you're already gonna go down, you might as well fish for the crits if you're playing with Ghost Rider on your team.
I forget it. It still has the worst timing
Mm.
that they didn't fix it.
I don't know. The timing is reasonable for the strength of the power.
That's probably true. Uh, the only other one we have to compare it to is ASM, but his is 1. 1 for 1 in the modified die step,
Right,
so
right.
it's quite a bit less powerful.
So the round ended with Crimson Dynamo flipping over to his injured side, and we have 2 hammers for Sooner and 2 secures, with Dan scoring 1 secure and 2 hammers. So this means that it's a 4-3 lead for Sooner. It's Dan's turn to go first. Looks like he is now attacking with Ghost Rider. It seems like and both the shield and the disruption field were put up, cable shield and disruption field. So Sooner's trying to be as tanky as possible here for this first attack.
And better to have the disruption field and not need it than not have it at all because he just blocks 3. No hex it looked like, so this is going to be uh, another 6 dice, 5 dice cable roll.
All right, so the disruption field. There's no disruption field on this one, and it's a big hit here. So
Oh.
let's see what Sooner blocks. And does Cable do the thing? He does not. He does or does not do the thing depending on your opinion of Cable. And he goes
Depending
down.
on which side of the table you're on.
Yeah, that's right. A lot of X-Force players would say Cable just did the thing. All right, so now we have Ghost Rider getting the injury, getting the daze on Cable here. This means that the priority will now shift if no other changes are made to activation order.
Yep. And this looks like it could be a really big beam turn for Crimson Dynamo if he goes now. Looks like he's holding off, though. He might be moving X-23 in, maybe to get the heal, and to be exceptionally annoying.
Well, the biggest bad of this round, Ghost Rider, for Dan's team is now gone. You only now have 5 dice attacks from Dynamo, and Daredevil, who is back here on the hammer. We've zoomed out of him a little bit. He's going to he's not going to have a very powerful activation this round, but he's going to be coming in late game and trying to just flip the game on its head with that spender eventually. That'd be the ultimate game plan for Dan. He's going to drive his Ghost Rider as close as he can to the point, and it looks like he gets it onto the point. Barely makes it in. That was the last action or last superpower used for Ghost Rider. So now let's see what Sooner does to react to his Cable going down.
Vroom, vroom, get on the middle point. Yes. That does put the hammer on the middle point, though. Ghost Rider's not the easiest to take down, but this is X-Force. X-Force is not shy about being able to remove characters from the table, as we saw with Dynamo going down round 1. 6 health, damage reduction by 1, and good defensive stats with offensive rerolls.
Yeah. This is interesting. So, like, I'm seeing Sooner could potentially do a beam here into 2 characters. He doesn't have any power to do any scooting at all with his Dynamo, but you could get 4 attacks with 5 dice each. You could throw 20 dice right now, but so that would be an obvious play. There's also Deadpool. I would love to see a range 4 check on Deadpool into Ghost Rider here. I think he's out, but it doesn't hurt to check. And then, so that would be another pretty viable play. X23 could get in the mix, but I think it's just giving the Dynamo from Dan's side like a free double beam. So I think you'd hold off on that one. Looks like Deadpool is going to be, in fact, outside of range 4 of the two characters in the middle. So maybe you actually hold off on that so that Dynamo on Dan's side doesn't get a good beam without having to pay for it.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea at this point for Dynamo to be charging himself up. He's in the position he wants to be. Being able to get some more disruption field power to stop more of the counterattack from Dan would be huge. He's already got a big advantage, and I think now's the time for Sooner to just press it. Keep up the pressure and don't let it up.
Yeah. That's interesting. I think so. I think Sooner's probably thinking about what's going to happen at the end of the round, just because there's not a lot of damage output remaining in this round from Dan's side. Basically, it's like how can you might want to be thinking about how I can initiate round 3 and maybe take a key piece down as an opening, as a something to consider. So it looks like we're seeing a beam into maybe it's into Dynamo and Wong. I would imagine that's another option that he can put down. So let's see what happens here. He rolls 5 successes, which is pretty significant.
That's pretty good. I'm imagining this is into Dynamo.
Well, either way, it was disruption fielded, so we're seeing that come up now. Stand 4 after disruption field. You can't really complain if you're Sooner here, and it was into Crimson Dynamo. Let's see if we're gonna see if this is a Ghost Rider into Ghost Rider 2. Did he roll a crit? And did Ghost Rider want to take a damage? Oh, he didn't have enough power. Wicked's Judgment is offline, which is a huge opportunity for Sooner to take advantage of putting through a bunch of damage on the other characters without having that ability.
Ooh, this is big. This
is crazy.
We will get a disruption field though.
But dude, man, when you've got, oh my goodness. Did that was that the disruption field? I think it was.
That was the X-Force reroll. That was the X-Force reroll into a success.
Here we go. We're seeing 4 already before disruption field, and 1 conversion to 5. So 5 into 1 takes 3. Oh, takes 4 on Ghost Rider. He is in fact doing the double beam right now. So that was his first action. And let's see what he does now. Wicked's Judgment is available to Ghost Rider.
Did Ghost Rider also get the one for his pal Dynamo getting a damage?
Oh, that's a good question.
I did not see. Because I should have brought the Wicked's Judgment online itself.
You're right.
But maybe they just forgot.
Yes. Let's fix that.
Another shot into Ghost Rider for 3 more damage? My goodness. No wilds, though. We've seen, what, 19 dice with not a single wild? Not including the rerolls on them? Leaving the Ghost Rider on 1.
All right, there we go.
A good defense roll from Dynamo.
All right, so looks like they did add the power on. All right, afterwards. So now this is Dynamo's next beam. Good block and good roll here. We had no disruption field, it looks like, because he don't think he had the power. Oh, that was
He did not.
Okay.
It was into Ghost Rider first for 3 damage, ignoring the disruption field because Dynamo was on 1, and then shooting Dynamo just now.
And that was it for Dynamo. So did he do 4 attacks there? Either way, we're seeing Ghost Rider on 1 health, and
Wicked's Judgment for 1.
All right. There's the judgment. Yes, there is a judgment. 1 damage through because of damage reduction.
Man, if only he had Namor's thing where he just got to ignore the damage reduction. Ghost Rider would be a happy man.
Oh man, all right, that's a little too good. But
oh, it is. But I can dream my boy is too good.
Oh, all right.
I almost had that dream with CGR, but I don't like Frank Castle as much as I like Johnny Blaze.
Yes. Okay, so now Dan has Daredevil and Dynamo to go. We have Crimson Dynamo with 4 health left on his injured side for Dan, so he probably wants to use him before he loses him.
It looks like Wong went and healed Ghost Rider first.
Yes. Oh, yes,
Uh,
that's right. So it is Sooner's turn to go here.
yeah, he leaving Ghost Rider on 1 seems like a real bad plan.
Yeah. Yep. That's fair. If he just went with Dynamo right there, he would have almost certainly lost Ghost Rider, like almost guaranteed. But
Hmm.
now this does buy. You still also haven't gone with Dynamo yet, so that leaves the door open for you to get multiple beams off if Sooner does bring X23 in now, which is what is happening. So let's see where X23 goes. Maybe she tries to go into a spot that makes getting a double beam off much more difficult for Dan.
Trying to check and see if he can go pressure that back point, it looks like.
So
That's the fun of Gamma.
looking back, it looks like the Hell on Wheels to put Ghost Rider in the position he's in was probably specifically to avoid a triple beam into Dynamo Wong and Ghost Rider. So,
Oh yeah, and he wasn't contesting in his original position, so
that's right too.
this
Yeah.
got him double contesting. One of them is injured though, so it was the only way to stop Dynamo from just solo taking that point.
Yeah.
I think I like going with Deadpool here first. It's hard to know who to go into because do you go into Dynamo for probably chip damage or Ghost Rider, but then potentially drop that hammer for someone harder to kill like Daredevil or Crimson Dynamo to use against you. But I feel like if he puts X23 in the wrong spot, he could just be hand delivering a hammer to them anyway.
Yeah, I like Deadpool going here into Ghost Rider with that range 4 attack. It gets you out of the disruption field, and look at Ghost Rider is slightly higher. He's like an inch closer than Dynamo, so you can put Deadpool in a spot where he's not getting hit by Dynamo, like right off the hop, and he is also going to be in range 4 of Ghost Rider. It looks like that's exactly what Sooner is measuring here.
Mhm.
And let's see, I'm sure we're seeing the roll come in. So he's got a 5 dice bang attack into Ghost Rider, who's rolling only 3.
And no disruption field this time,
Yes.
but it's gonna feel good. That's gonna make that bang bang much more likely to hit. It's kind of wild to me how, not so long ago, Deadpool would never have been used in a game like this. And all it took was a little adjustment to the way his gun worked and a nice range 2 place, and all of a
Yes.
sudden
He's a
he is
monster.
crazy.
He's a monster now. Yep, that leg day was massive for him. All right, well, he rolls 3 and a Ghost Rider who blocks 2, takes 1. No rapid fire trigger. So that's it for Deadpool. But I mean, that was a bad turn for Deadpool. I'm sure Sooners overall pretty happy with the game so far. He's in a very strong attrition position, it seems like, and he will have priority next round to probably go for the KO on Dynamo.
And call out to the good foresight to go ahead and heal Ghost Rider with Wong.
There, yeah, exactly. You're
That
right.
that one damage was all it would have taken to get Ghost Rider out, and he took it. But
Yeah.
going ahead and doing Wong early really helped, and that also gave him like an interesting pass.
Yes.
Wong's usually like a pseudo pass because like who's nothing happened that round except you know sitting on the back point.
All right. Looks like Dan is looking to dive his Daredevil. Deadpool doesn't really like Daredevil that much because Daredevil can counterattack him. He counts blanks and 4 dice physical counting blanks, so he's generally pretty tough. And also, his Man Without Fear superpower lets him retaliate, and there's no there's no limit on the amount of times you could do it. So if Deadpool gets his rapid fire triggers, you you could potentially just be attacked twice back by Daredevil with the hammer.
Oh, that's interesting. He's putting him within range 2 of all of the enemy characters, so that he's going to get a huge reroll on the next turn when he goes into this Deadpool.
Did we
He
see
is
a?
right.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was he is right next to Cable, the absolute dice slot machine that he is. But uh, if any fourth threat character can withstand Cable, I think Daredevil is one of them.
Yeah. The is Daredevil within range 2 of the Gamma? I feel like he must be in, but he's
He
it's
has to be,
close.
yeah.
It's close. I think yeah. So I'm hoping he is. Anyway, X23 looking to go and put pressure on the back line here with like really setting up a massive attack from X23 into Wong. 6 dice with a reroll and a wild flurry. Um, would be just devastating to anyone, really. That's a really strong attack for a 3 threat. Are you kidding me?
hmm I really like how this round has gone. Round one was some nice little pokes and jousting, and this one's been a lot of setup. We've seen some good attacks. We've seen some attempts to push, but a lot of this, especially from Dan, has been just setting up the next round, trying to get a point where you can maybe try to take out Cable, Sooner trying to set up a way to pressure with priority. Um, I am a little worried about this Daredevil going down, but um, if he does, I think Ghost Rider just takes him out. So there's just a lot of. I think Sooner's going to have a hard decision on who to go for at the top of this next round.
Yep, so there's X23 coming in, and she did position herself behind Dynamo, and but it wasn't enough to prevent the beam. So this was basically always going to happen if Dan was going last based on X23's position, unless she continued to stay away from the hallway of Gamma. So
hmm
let's see what happens here. 4 successes from Dan, very strong. He's got the Defender reroll available to him as well. Ooh, this is big for Dan.
I'm guessing this one is into 23. Yes,
Yes,
because we have a
this is
reroll.
this is brutal, but we have Disruption
This
Field
is
as well.
huge.
So
Oh my goodness. That's X23 down.
wow, that's I think that happens to Sooner a lot. Okay, I've heard him talk about X23 before, and sometimes she just explodes, and it's no different in this situation. There's another. That's another big hit in this game. Wow,
That's huge.
that was
Didn't even
massive. Dan, wow.
not even like I was expecting we might see something like that when she had power for something like the old exceptional healing, but we didn't. She just went down before she could have even played it.
Yep, and she just gave Dynamo the hammer like you earlier predicted would could potentially happen. There's the streamer curse coming back to haunt Sooner a little bit.
No, why can I do this? Why would I
Okay.
do this to my boy?
And all right, let's see here.
That's a huge block up for Dynamo, though.
That is big. He is taking the shock condition, so Dynamo will be he won't be attrition very strong in the attrition or less strong in attrition situations for Sooner. So, all right, there we go. I think now the round is over. 3 hammers on Dan's side, and we've got 1 hammer from Sooner's side. And is he hold? But he is holding the middle. He's tied on the middle. So
Mhm.
this means that we're gonna see a lead of 1 VP lead by Dan, I believe, if my math is checking out here. There it is, 7-6. All right, wow,
Yep.
big plays by Dan. The Dynamo, you thought he would maybe not survive being on his injured side round 2, but he makes it through. And let's see, he looks like he's in a decent position, but you've got the attrition team, the X-Force attrition team, probably looking to chop him up. Let's see who Sooner goes into first.
I feel like X23 right here has the perfect opportunity to just take 3 characters out if the dice line up for him.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
get a good spender into Ghost Rider, frenzy into Crimson Dynamo or Wong, pick up that hammer and then just attack again. That could be just game changing right now.
That's right. I believe both players have added the power phase, so it's important to note if Dan does do a disruption field on the first attack here, and that would mean that the disruption field is not online again until he gets more power, either through Wong or through activating and doing attacks to generate more, or using his superpower to generate more. But so let's see what Dan, if he opts to use his basically 1 disruption field for this opening activation for Sooner.
I'd also like to call out how efficient they've been on time. This was gonna be a quick one no matter what. But someone in the chat pointed out not even 10 minutes used by both of them. Playing very quickly and decisively.
Yeah, I think that's just the amount of reps that both these players have. They have probably both of them probably have over 70, over 80 reps with these teams or variations of them. So it's just a lot of the decision points are probably easy for them to make.
Yes. I think this was what I said. I think this was an X-23 spender into Ghost Rider that got sacrificed into Dynamo.
Okay, so you have to remember that the Pierce works before the disruption field. So this means that, um, oh, it's a sacrifice into Daredevil. So there
Oh, and
means
a
the
Daredevil.
Pierce. That means the Pierce wouldn't actually work if that's the case, because Daredevil just took some damage. It looks like, and now he's Daredevil. Um, he must have spent the 2 power here. Did he spend the 2 power? All right. What am I seeing?
It looked like he was measuring a short
I
move.
think the disruption field uh, undid the damage is basically what I'm seeing. Either way, we're seeing 2 into 2. There should be no damage applied, which is what was corrected, I believe, because they added power and then they took away power and damage. Yes. So no damage done on that attack from X-23, and we're going into the next attack.
You're getting the move off the Claw Rush.
Yes.
Gonna probably try to get her out of 3 of this disruption field.
I don't know if
I mean,
that's
that doesn't matter at this point.
possible. Exactly. What matters is taking down Ghost Rider here. Maybe I think that's like he can roll 7 dice attacks if he gets to go. Ooh, man.
I think this is probably just going back into the same target into that Ghost Rider.
Oh, look at
Oh
that. He
man,
rolled not well enough. So maybe. Hold on. He did not roll well enough. Looks like he's got to count on his rerolls. His leadership gets him a skull unlock, and the X20 X
that should do
Force.
it.
That gets him. Wow. It got him exactly after rerolls. There you go. The power of the X-Force leadership. We do have the ability for X-23 to pay 2 power for a frenzy at this point in time before she does anything else. There it goes. So now she has the short move attack sequence that the frenzy offers, and she also has the medium move sequence that the after the attack is resolved part of her spender does, and they both have to be done before you can actually interact with the hammer. So basically, Sooner, I'm sure, already, of course, knows all this, and he's trying to plan out accordingly.
I wonder who his frenzy target's going to be here. I feel like there's some really good ones. And it's just going to be a matter of who does he prioritize more, doing some damage to Daredevil or trying to maybe get lucky and kill Dynamo?
Oh man, so it looks like, well, he's put the hammer near Daredevil. What this is interesting, right? Because you either have to
Oh?
you're forcing Daredevil to take a move action if he wants to pick up that hammer, which obviously disrupts his ability to put attrition output into Sooner's team. And now he's looking like he's using the frenzy on a 4-block
Oh.
Crimson Dynamo.
Oh my
Wow,
goodness.
that was an impenetrable defense. Is that what I'm seeing being rolled there? All right, X-23 on the back point, and just looking to be a nuisance and potentially divert attacks away from the other characters on the board.
I think this is where we see Wong pop off, right? Like this is just where Wong punches X-23 to death.
So yes, we saw that was the frenzy trigger, and X-23 did push herself. She is within one. She used the tool. The symbol isn't over her head though, so that's something to just like watch out for. Make sure that players both are aligned on that. But anyway, you just used her medium advance from her spender to make that a positioning adjustment afterwards. So Sooner choosing the proper sequence to, I think, an optimal sequence in that case. We have Daredevil now. Look like he's going into Deadpool.
I like to see these kind of rolls on Deadpool. He doesn't have a lot of health. He's going to rely on this karate and his healing factor to keep him up, especially with the.
This is a lot of rerolls coming in. I think he's skull locked to some degree, but uh, he looks like.
Did he
Oh, that was a disruption
reroll the
field.
wild?
That was a disruption field
Oh,
on
disruption field. Yes.
yes. So it looks like one damage goes through on Deadpool, and that there we've got Daredevil has another attack action, and so let's see if he takes it, or he could take a move action. But I feel like you're kind of need to go all gas here. Yeah, I think
Flairbunk bringing up a good
yes.
point about exceptional. I don't know if it's nerfed. It's definitely not the same card at all. It's not like
It's yeah. It seems
just
yeah.
bad, but it might see use. But the thing is, it's not Odin's like it was before. It's not like how Deception became a card that's functionally the same. It just became a brand new card. So like people are gonna have to test with it to see if it's worth bringing in any kind of capacity.
That's
And
right.
that's not really. This isn't really the place for that. This is trying to take the most efficient things because you don't want to just lose because you're testing.
We're seeing the Daredevil rerolls here. If he gets these conversions, he can get them. 4 into 2. Deadpool takes 2. I think there's a disruption field involved here. And
Yes.
there it goes. Yep. So it looks like Deadpool is surviving no matter what here. Which was really like if Sooner wanted something to happen this round, this was probably one of the top things.
Taking one. Now, does Cable go? Pick up this hammer and make Daredevil uh, regret? Yes. that question was answered for me.
Is he going into Daredevil though, or is he gonna go into uh, someone else maybe? Yeah, so there we go. They're fixing the adjustment on the range one. So there we go. You love to see when everything is as clean as possible. They moved X23 1 millimeter so that the secure symbol is over her model.
Yeah, as much clarity as possible for both the players.
Okay. There's a good roll. You want to see yeah, you want to see that. You want to see a couple crits when you get rerolls on a character. When you get no skulls, in this case, X Force can like reroll to skulls, but in like other cases, you want to see no skulls and only crits because like that obviously exponentially, it just makes your damage potential just rack up immediately, especially with reroll characters. But it doesn't even matter.
Oh!
Sooner rolls 6 for 6 and just wipes out Dynamo. That's
Turns Dynamo into chunky salsa.
oh man, that was insane. So Cable just rolling hot fire all game. It's really interesting because I think a game that was streamed by Sooner, Sooner against Steve, I believe, and that game, his Cable was pathetic, and in this game, he is just absolutely popping off.
I loved the Steve, I believe. I think that was a good little bit of rhyme. Yeah,
Okay.
Cable is not shy of choice here. He can go for Wong just to get an activation. He's not getting priority anyway. Get him closer to Daze and go for the table, or is he gonna? I think it looks like he wants to measure out to this Daredevil and try to get some leader off the board.
Oh, he's looking for a throw, probably trying to set up a brace being burned for additional throws in the future. Deadpool is more susceptible to dodge rolls or to having to dodge because he doesn't get to count blanks in his dodge rolls.
Yes, the the bane of all martial artists everywhere is buildings thrown at Mach 5.
Yes, yes, very realistic. Mach 5.
You may block these bullets, but you cannot block this car.
Okay, okay, I see. I'm trying to pretend this is a believable situation in the MCU universe or whatever universe you're a fan of. All right, you're taking me out
I'm,
of it by saying they can block bullets with martial artists. Because all
he just
right.
catches them.
Okay, so we have Cable rolling 7 dice now with the hammer. We've got 4 blocks. So who could this be? Or 3? What am I seeing here from Dan?
This is probably into Daredevil if I had to guess. 6 successes. That
That's
shotgun
amazing.
reroll. Oh, this is a Wong.
Oh
Nope,
wow.
he's just gonna finish off Wong here.
That was yeah. There we go. You might as well. He's already activated. Now you're throwing the building into Daredevil. This is just like Cable just absolutely popping off 6 on 7 dice, and then he also takes 4 damage on Dynamo. Like I don't know what more you could ask for out of this character. Braces has been burned by Daredevil.
A funny little thing about Brace that I learned is you still technically roll the dice. So characters like Mysterio or the Doc Ox, they still get to roll their dice and fish for an extra power. But obviously, no reason to do it on this Daredevil here. He doesn't have anything like that. He's just going to block the building with his fist and a card and be done.
Okay. So this is Deadpool rolling into, or who's rolling into Daredevil here? Looks like Deadpool measuring a bang bang.
There it is.
There's the so that's the bang bang trigger, right? Oh,
Yep.
sorry. Dynamo just gained a power, so this must have been a Dynamo attack into Daredevil.
Oh,
And we're seeing, I think we're seeing, yeah, we're seeing another one. Same one. He rolls 2 blanks. No damage going through yet.
getting a one. I was about to say I don't think he used the. Is he re-rolling that?
I am not. I had the X Force reroll. He rolled out of the X Force reroll to prevent the attack back from Daredevil.
Oh, I see.
That was pretty
Interesting.
cool.
Keep him in place.
Yeah, that was, and also of course like you don't want to get spiked and get Daredevil can get on the points. He can do a attack with 5 dice stack with 2 rerolls. Sorry, 6 dice stack because he's holding the hammer. So a very interesting decision from Sooner there to reroll out of the success. Very cool.
Yeah, I like the. It's not often you get to see people make plays like that where they just uh, choose to re-roll out of their own successes.
Yes, yes. It's
He did shock
a little bit
Daredevil.
of a thinking outside the box type situation, or just like basically, yeah. So props to Sooner for making that. What seems to be a very smart play there. So it's now dead. Now it's Deadpool's turn to go. He doesn't want to attack Daredevil because he only has 2 health left. He might just consider doing nothing, or maybe taking all of the remaining 1 power from Daredevil, just with Merc with the mouth, and looks like he's setting up a sacrifice positioning on Dynamo. And yeah, so let's see. Just to keep him alive. Healing the 2, so he's back to full health. And so that seemed totally reasonable. You did not want to just lose Deadpool there. That would have been a sad situation for Sooner. Now he's up 13-8 because he holds 3 hammers, and he held all of the gamma positions, which was 4 points. So that was 7 points going from 6 to 13. Dan got 1 point for the hammer on Daredevil going to 8. So 13-8.
Yeah, I'm honestly a little shocked we might actually see it go to 16.
Yeah, I mean, either way, a lot of characters are getting taken down along the way.
Oh yeah,
So,
it has been very bloody. This is exactly what you want to see in MCP.
yes,
Good
so
tactical play, but lots of dying.
yes, exactly, exactly. It's this mission forces that, of course, if you take damage when you're outside of range 2 of the these 3 central secure points. So you kind of forces the cluster. That's why both players brought Dynamo because he's usually very strong in these secure types. I think. I mean, are we going to see a Ghost Rider Spender right away here to try to basically one shot a character? Uh,
I think he needs something like that. He needs to just delete somebody off of Sooner's side.
yes.
Uh, Otherwise, he's just going to be. He's got to pull some momentum in his direction. The game's not over yet, but it's getting close.
Now Sooner does have 2 hammers on Cable. Maybe Ghost Rider takes him out, or that's the out he's looking for. And you see a Ghost Rider pick up the hammers and get another big swing into someone else. We're seeing, what are we seeing here? Power. So Sooner's putting up both the shields, and it's probably a Ghost Rider attack for.
This
Oh,
looks
is
like
it
a
Ghost
penance
Rider?
stare.
Yes, it is a penance stare. He paid for it. And Sooner rolls exactly what you'd expect if you're Cable. He
Oh,
rolls
no!
absolutely nothing. This was huge. He got the defender rerolls to pop him
Oh
off,
no!
and he gets him exactly. He just one-shot Cable.
He's got it. This
Wow.
disruption field has to
Yes.
convert these, or he loses his leader.
Sick.
Wow!
He lives on one.
Lives on
And
one.
Cable loses all of that power. Holy moly. This game is absolutely insane. This game is just insane. Okay, so now you've got Ghost Rider here to MCP special. That's right, Chewie. Yeah. Yeah. So now we've got a fallback play from Cable. It looks like. I'm surprised he didn't recal that. It was very interesting that he didn't. He chose not to recal that attack from. But maybe he's saving it for something else. I guess.
Yeah, that is odd. Maybe he forgot. I don't know.
Yeah, he might have forgot his trigger.
He may
Yeah.
have been just. He may have been thinking about I'll fall back out of range and he won't get the second attack and recount it and hit him.
Yep. So Ghost Rider has Hell on Wheels available to make a long advance move. So I think that if he is able to take out Cable here, he can utilize that move to grab the two hammers on Cable. Uh, let's see what the response would be here. I think that Sooner might look at if Cable does go down. I think Sooner might look at just taking Wong right off the board, and with X-23, and then putting attacks into Daredevil to set up the inability to play Deal with the Devil realistically. Okay. Oh, look
Wow.
at that. A big whiff. Cable or Sooner needs to block one here to live on Cable. Does he
And he
do it?
doesn't.
Oh man, he
Oh
doesn't.
no.
That's insane. Oh my goodness. Holy shit. Dan gets Cable here with Ghost Rider. What a big activation for Dan. Holy moly. That is absolutely bananas. This game is out of control, guys.
Man, so many little things. Moving behind the planter would have been good too. That would have been cover and it would have
Oh
saved
my
him. Golly.
goodness. Yeah, you're right. The planter play. The planter might have been the play. He no power. Yeah, he had no power for sacrifice either because that's right, Shadow Marvel in the chat, because he lost all of his power. Definitely going to see the Hell on Wheels to grab the two hammers. That was really big for Dan. That's holy crap.
That is huge. That
Man.
is the flip I think Dan needed.
Yeah, there you go. There's the expected return value of Dan's models paying off here. Does he just
Who do
run
we go with
Deadpool? Okay.
next?
All right, so let's see. Are we seeing X-23 into Wong, or are you
Has
gonna?
to be. It's
Yeah, I
six
think it
dice.
is. It seems reasonable. And Wong goes down. There's one
Wong
shot.
is out of here.
Wow, that's crazy. All right, X-23 gets a frenzy and a trigger. Let's see if that. Oh, hold on. Is this the right attack we're thinking of? Maybe it's someone else. Hold on. I guess I could check the log to see who paid power. No one paid power, so that would have had to have been a stab from Deadpool into Daredevil. There it goes. So that we were right. Oh yeah, it was
Gee,
a stab, and he blocked. He went 5 into 2, so 3 damage on Daredevil. He's gonna look at doing his retaliatory attack, and so now we're going to see if he can get out of range of Dynamo, or he's going to maybe stay in range of 2 of Dynamo to get the rerolls. He can't get out of 3. I don't see a way to do that.
Dynamo doesn't have the ability to do disruption field right now, so he's not going to be worried about. He's just going to be worried about sacrifice.
Yeah,
Maybe he just won't even
sacrifice
take
might
the
be the play,
attack.
or a recalibration matrix. We do see a power spent for the sacrifice. Dynamo is now taking the hit here. Okay.
A good roll from Daredevil.
He's got 2 rerolls here, Dan does, but he just skulled out, so he doesn't get them.
Ooh.
So we Dynamo taking 1 damage.
The classic damage reduction character, blocking one on a 3-die attack, tanking the other, and only taking one, the triple one. Why did Daredevil only roll 5 dice? That should have been 4 or
Um,
6. Oh, Shockhand Hammer. That's why.
Ooh, good thing we called that out. That's why I always got to try to double check before you interrupt the game. All right. So let's see here.
Joint effort being used, it looks like.
Okay, this is going to give Deadpool 2 extra dice into the attack into Daredevil. This is an insurance policy, it seems like, to make sure Daredevil goes down. Of course, it would be massive to take out Daredevil here and get a hammer back. It would put you in a spot where you're winning the game, right? Daredevil needs to survive here for Dan to stay in the game because we're gonna see X23 probably try to score out over Wong here to get the 2 VPs plus Deadpool having 1 hammer. So the math is looking grim for Dan unless he can survive this and pay back, get some payback.
I think that this is a dazed Daredevil, and I think that
Wow.
spells the end of the game because um, even if Wong manages to daze X23, Daredevil has 3 points. Or no, he's representing 3. Yeah, he's representing 3 points on his own. Crimson Dynamo's beating out the Gamma Shelter in the middle on Ghost Rider.
Yes.
Uh, that would be over. I think that the only
You
play
got to
here is to
recal.
recal.
Yeah, you got to recal this. And is he gonna miss it? Looks like he is. Looks like he forgot about recal. All right, it's tough when you're in the intense game here. Should have, yeah. Mike in the chat saying you could have murked him to stop the recal, but it doesn't matter. It looks like. Oh, hold on. What are we seeing? Recal going off. The
Probably
recal goes
deciding
off.
if he.
Yes, he did recal. He's paid the 3 power, and let's see if he lives here. He's rolling 3 counting blanks from what is this, like 7 dice from Deadpool?
And 9 dice from Deadpool.
It's a lot.
Blocking 2,
Oh, Derek, doesn't
taking
matter.
2.
Yep, that was a desperation play and it didn't work. Yes, you're right. Wong is not going to be able to stop Deadpool from scoring those points. He just doesn't have the action economy, and so there, no matter what happens now, Sooner is going to win the game. Very, very strong play from both players. Looks like the dice went a little more in Sooner's favor, especially with those cable rolls early on, getting 4 for 4 and 6 out of 7, and and yeah, he did take a few hits down with Cable going down and X23 getting 1 shot, but it wasn't Dan's output. I think ultimately what we said at the beginning, where the Crimson Dynamo, uh, Sooners Crimson Dynamo was better than Dan's in this game, and it was a very big help for him securing the victory.
Oh yeah, there is only one Victor and only one Crimson Dynamo on the board still, and they correspond to the same person. Uh, I this it felt like a matchup that as soon as like momentum went one way, as long as gas was continued to be pressed, it
Let's
was going to be really hard to
join
recover.
let's join their chat. They've ended the game.
Awesome.
Rider. Uh, was yeah, that was probably bad, but like, I don't know if that changes it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe
4 to 4.
going with Dynamo earlier because once Cable got that activation, I mean, it's
Yeah, but like,
I don't
so
know.
I thought
I mean,
he'd
he shouldn't have
kill.
one shot him. He shouldn't have one shot him, but 2 shots, even under disruption
Yeah,
field, may do
yeah.
it.
So
With the
I was
hammer.
hoping like he's rolling 6 dice. First one does 2, and like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
um that's 2 or 3 on average. I'm sitting on 2 remaining that have disruption and probably incinerated. Like,
So odds of Daredevil killing Deadpool right there were extremely low with, I mean, I don't know if you knew I had all that bunker there with the Cable defense dice and the Dynamo disruption field. And you were kind of pot committed once you did the first attack.
no, yeah. So like, I think for that, odds of killing anyone there are bad.
You're
Um,
true. You're right. You're true.
because the same like it applies to everyone, and like Deadpool has an additional reroll over Cable. But
Mhm.
he also only has 4 health. So like from the perspective of if there's a model you can kill, I think it's Deadpool there.
Yeah.
Even like the
Well,
odds
yeah.
aren't great with the disruption field,
One
but
spike hits
yeah.
them, right? Yeah. I mean, a spike, I roll 5 dice, I roll all blanks, and you spike. And yeah, I mean, he's only got 4 health. So,
Yeah, because it was 2 6 dice attacks basically.
mhm.
Which isn't like catastrophic, but yeah.
Oh, no. No.
It's a lot of odds.
Well, it's 2 6 dice attacks with your rerolls. If he has no defensive tech there, yeah, I think you kill him.
Oh yeah, I
The
mean, yeah, with the only so it's a 6 dice attack with 3 rerolls, and then a 6 dice attack with 0 rerolls, and then they're both disruption fielded. So like, there's
Yeah,
probably you got to get 4 damage through. I bet that's like a 30% chance.
sure. Yeah,
Which
it's man. I mean, the Defenders versus X-Force is just a dicey game in general. And I think I have
yeah.
such a much more offensive team than you. Um,
Uh, I don't
you
know.
think
Like, I think if
if
Dynamo
Daredevil can
lives,
spin her,
yeah. So like, if Dynamo lives round one, and if Daredevil can ever get the power to spender, which he was close to, like obviously I burned a bunch on Recal.
mhm,
Then like, yeah, like Dynamo dazing round one was bad.
yeah. And I
That
was
was
I
really
was debating on not even attacking him with Dynamo. I was debating on just double moving, so I would be immediately at 2 power next turn. I'm sure
yeah.
glad that I attacked and rocket boost up.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because he just got shredded, and then Ghost Rider just got eviscerated by your Dynamo as well.
Oh yeah, no, my Dynamo was just on fucking fire.
Yeah, I mean
I mean,
your
your
cable's
Dynamo was
hot.
too, but yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Dynamo and Cable were both hot. Yeah,
And I mean Ghost Rider rolled pretty decent.
everybody rolled pretty well, to be honest.
Daredevil was a little bit below average, I
That's
think,
true.
but he
That's
he was the
true.
only one. And then X-23, I think maybe. But yeah, I think I really screwed up not recalling the Ghost Rider days.
Yeah,
That was the worst. Because it was what you had 5 on 4 with the crit and skull situation, so that's like
5 on 3, right? Because he's a 3 physical.
no, but he had a crit in there.
Oh,
For
I got it.
recal,
I
you
got it.
reroll everything. Um,
Yeah, I think you
besides
recount
skulls.
to try to save him, right? I mean, because if you
Yeah,
get that activation, this flips the game.
yeah. No, I definitely should have done that.
Hey
Are
guys.
they in here?
Yes, we
Yeah, yeah,
are.
they're
We're
in there.
just enjoying the post game chat. All right, so well, thank you very much for letting us stream that game. That was very explosive, and
Yes, it was.
yeah, and congrats to for Dan for an amazing season. You played all of the games that we got to watch. Where you played with incredible amount of skill, and we're so thank you very much, and congrats on the amazing run for your first season.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, it was a really fun season. Yeah, I mean, Sooners obviously an amazing player. So yeah, I wish you luck in the finals, buddy. I think you got
Yeah,
decent matchups, I think. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think so. I appreciate it. I mean, Dan, I want to say, man, first season, 288 players, and I know you've been working your butt off, but dude, making top four, that's just insanely good, dude. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's like the game's like very puzzly to me, which like I haven't really played that many tabletop games before, but like I like puzzles, so I think it's a pretty amenable skill set.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're good at it, so keep it up.
Dan, were you ultimately happy with the crisis draw? What were your feelings like during deployment or like early in the game?
So I like Gamma obviously because I brought it, but of his 3 crises, I think Hammers is probably the one I dislike the most. Cable, I think Cable and Deadpool are just very efficient hammer carriers. Ghost Rider is too, but like yeah, like wasn't in love with hammers, but like I don't think it's like a bad draw by any means.
Right. The and Sooner, you had a choice of 15 or 18 threat. What was your thinking between going with the lower threat here?
Yeah, because I think I have more punching power the lower the threat. I think the higher the threat goes, and maybe that's not correct. I don't know. All four of my models can punch pretty hard, whereas I knew he was going to have to either bring Ghost Rider and Wong, which Wong is. So here's the thing with Wong. Wong's great on Gamma until you play a team like X Force who can reach out and touch him and kill him very easily. Um, and so like Dynamo, X-23, Cable, they all kill Wong fairly reliable. So he can't just kind of sit back there and do his thing all the time. And then his other option was Luke Cage and Shang-Chi, because I knew he's bringing Dynamo and Daredevil. And Shang-Chi is very good, but Shang-Chi does not like Deadpool shooting him with a hammer. It's awful for him. I can just melt
Yeah.
him. And so I felt like 15 was the better choice. I felt like 18 just gave him more toys to play with, and I didn't. I really liked my 15 team. It's the whole reason I have Gamma in here, and so that's what I went with.
Very cool. Merzane, do you have any questions for the players?
I don't think so. I think that any question I had while watching, like, why is that happening? Quickly got answered later on in the game when you showed me that you were just setting things up because you're putting on a master class for us, both of you. Uh, it was a really good game, very fun to watch. Uh, I guess the only question I have sooner uh, when Cable was getting judged for his sins by Ghost Rider's penance stare, did you consider using Recal there to maybe try to save him?
I totally messed that up. That was a huge blunder. So I was telling Dan in the post game. So I was debating it. There was like a 2 minute window there where I was like, hold on, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I should have sacked it first.
Mhm.
Into Dynamo, which I was gonna do, and then I was like, no, no, I'll just tank this with Cable because I have 6 defense dice. He's under disruption field. He has to do 7 damage, and I have recal. I was like, I'm good. He rolls it, and like he gets the big roll, he gets all the re rolls, and I just completely forget about recal. Just completely forgot about it. And I'm like, well, shit. Okay, he lives on one. And then, he was like, all right. And then it had already passed by the time I realized I did fall back. And then by the time I realized it, I was like, shit. I even said in the game, I was like, shit, I forgot to recal. So
Uh,
yeah, I completely blundered that.
yeah, well, I was talking to you died by one, and you could have falled back behind the planter for the cover. It felt like you just it did feel like a kind of a panic moment, almost like, oh no, this is all going downhill so quickly.
I think probably so. I knew that in that moment, if Deadpool killed Daredevil, that I win the game.
Right.
And obviously, doing 4 dice to Daredevil with physical is not the easiest, but Deadpool with a hammer, and I knew I had joint effort. Like I knew it was going to be fairly decent, decent time. I knew he couldn't attack me back because I had put Deadpool in sack range the previous turn of Dynamo. So yeah, I mean, it was a blunder, but luckily I was far enough up in the game that I was able to recover.
Right. Uh, as a little follow-up question, is Recal one of the cards you added to your list after the big tactics cards change of
It is.
2024?
It is. Hence my blunder of playing it. I have not
That's good
played
what I figured.
Recal in probably 2 years. So yes, and I have not played any practice games or anything. So yeah, I haven't played it in so long. It's funny because in my thinking when he was attacking, I was like, okay, I got 6 defense dice. It's disruption field, and I'll just recal it. Like I literally said that to myself in my head. I was like, Cable will just tank the first one, and then I'll
Uh,
sacrifice the next
y-
one.
y-
And I just
you're
completely forgot once he rolled the dice to recal it.
Yeah, because you were like incredibly quick on the fallback too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Which you're immediately just like, okay, I'm falling back. Because like, yeah, like after you fall back, it's hard. Like, yeah, I mean, if well, yeah, whatever.
no, I
But yeah,
messed it up. Yeah, I totally messed it up. It's on me. I mean, but luckily, yeah, I mean, luckily the round before was just such a huge round for me that it didn't matter.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you very much for letting us stream the game. And congrats to both of you for a good season so far for you, Sooner. And unfortunately, Dan's season ends one game short. But I believe you're going to be, if you play next season, you're definitely going to be someone to watch out for. And anyway, thank you guys for letting us watch the game, and we'll catch you next time.
all right, thanks so
Thank you,
much.
guys.
I'll catch
Yep.
you guys
Thanks,
later.
Dan.
Yeah,
Yep.
congrats
Thanks for
again,
the game,
Sooner.
bud. All
Good
right.
luck,
Take care.
bud.
All right, there we go. The game is over. Sooners making it to the finals. Thank you, Merzane, for joining me on the stream. That was a blast. And yeah, we've got tomorrow evening, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Curtis versus Schmid for the second game of the top four. Winner faces Sooner in the finals, man. What a season. 2 games left. Let's go.